name is Tariq. I'm here today in Ramadan Radio. We've got a special guest from the community, Mr. Sudais Saleh. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Sudais Saleh, 18 years of age, and I am from Leicester. I'm a footballer who played for Leicester City Football Club and Nottingham Football Club, currently a free agent. And we're here to talk about community life and my journey in general. So look forward to it.
Thank you for that, Sudais. Just want to say, what would your advice be to the youth today? I know you've been in the football game for quite a while. I've known you since you were young, from the days you were as neighbours in the community till the day you were playing for Leicester Academy. I see the way everyone looks up to you. So, what would your advice be to the youth out there who have dreams, aspirations? What gives them that belief to do so? Yeah, give us a bit of insight.
It's always important when you're young to believe in yourself. And obviously, me personally, being a footballer, I think it's about believing in yourself, understanding that you have a lot of time. So have fun, enjoy yourself. At the same time, have that aspiration, dream big, and go for it. Like I did, I dreamt big when I was playing youth football, like community football, and then I started to go play Sunday League. And then it grew to playing academy football and so on and so on. And I'm still trying to dream big to play at a high level every single time.
That's interesting, actually. I wanted to ask you. I know I'm part of the community too, so I've seen you playing at the Cruyff Court, still involved with the community. It's not like you went on to Leicester Academy and you left your roots. I see you still involved. You see the brothers around. So tell me a bit about that. How is it like that, being at such a stage in your life where you've been at a high stage, but also you can stay grounded?
Yeah, I think because of where I come from, St. Matthews is a background where it's known to be to other people. It's humbling. You know, I lived in a council estate, and obviously to have a Cruyff Court, AstroTurf pitch in that estate was a big thing because you hardly have that.
I remember when we were young, we had literally just grass.
Yeah, literally just grass, and we used to play there. And it's bumpy and everything, and when it rains, everyone has to go inside. But now that there's an AstroTurf pitch, everyone can come out, and I think now the youth have so much more opportunities to play football and engage in the game a bit more. Whereas before, we didn't really have motivation to play when you're looking at grass and trees that are broken down on the floor. And now you have an actual AstroTurf pitch. But I started there, and obviously to have that, I was going there summer camp, Leicester City community where we're doing sessions there at the start.
Yeah.
And then I was just going there to have fun, to enjoy myself. After any other kids should do, go Cruyff, enjoy yourself, go to any other AstroTurf pitch wherever you live in your neighbourhood. Just go enjoy football. That's the most important thing I'll give. Important advice I'll give to young people.
What would you say is the shift from being a normal kid into that stage? How did it happen? Just give us a little insight on that. Like, were you just playing really, really well for quite a while, or was it just snap of your fingers? How was that transition?
It happened quick. I think when I was playing for Leicester Nirvana, the Sunday League team I was playing at, I was playing really well, scoring goals week in, week out. But that's not the reason why I went to Leicester.
Okay.
I went to Leicester purely because someone seen me at Cruyff and liked the way I played, and then said, we want you to come for a trial at Leicester.
So that's someone from Leicester seeing you at Cruyff?
Yeah, someone at Leicester City.
So what are the chances of someone from Leicester coming to Cruyff?
Probably because obviously Kicks is connected to Leicester and they may have spoke with each other. But then again, that story, like, it's one in a million. And you won't hear another player. It's very rare to hear another player getting seen on the street and going to play a high level like that.
I know one story about you. You said that the first day you went to play for Leicester, on your trial day, you did amazing things.
Yeah.
You went out having a good game, and you did something amazing. I want you to share that story. The reason being is I'm a strong believer of when it's your time, and when it's written for you, it will happen. So just give us an insight, because when I heard that story, it was amazing.
Yeah. So my first training session, I was training there, whatever, and obviously getting to know the players. I was a bit nervous. That was my first week. My first week went a bit smoothly, and now we're going into the game for the second week. So the games get involved, and I wasn't having the best of games. I can't lie to you. I wasn't performing to the best of my abilities. And obviously, when you're on trial, you're not performing. that pressure.
Can play in your head.
It can play in your head a little bit. So I don't know what got into me. I don't know what. Someone's just crossed me the ball, and then I've done an overhead kick, and I just look back and it's gone. It's gone in. I'm like, I just want to celebrate and stuff. And after that, that's when I started to play and perform, and I got that confidence. And even when I went to academy, I spoke to my dad about this the other day. Like, I never had that pressure of I'm coming from Sunday League, I'm coming from the hood, should I say, and not I'm going to a big academy and I'm struggling or I'm panicking. I was never like scared in a sense. I was just taking it in every single day, like enjoy it. And now I can sit here and say I played academy professional football for 8 years, 9 years. So
just to point out, reason why I said that story was he's never done an overhead kick before that.
I'm about 5'5", so it's not really easy for my legs to get that high.
Yes. So moving on from that, or what I wanted to talk about is since we've been talking about your journey in the football, a lot of people can relate to that. Whether that's because of the aspirations. Some people you see that are looking to start a business. Some people are trying to get a certain job. Some people are trying to do their YouTube channels, all this kind of stuff. So I feel like the journey for your football is also the same. You're gonna have bumps and it's gonna be hard at some points. So what advice can you give to people trying to do those things, trying to hit their goals, the day-to-day life? What would you think is the most important thing for them to know, to be patient enough to say, I want to do this is gonna happen, but I just need that belief, that consistency. What would you advise me to them?
I think football aside, like just in general, in life in general, every single person, whatever you're trying to do, whether it's a business and all the things prior that you mentioned, I think you're always gonna have bumps on the road. You know, you might start a business and that business might not work out. You have to go to another business, or you stick with that business. Just everything you do will always have bumps on the road. Will always have challenges, but every single person that's made it and at the top now, they've all had bumps on the road, and they've all surpassed that. They've all gone past that pressure of if you. I've started seeing a saying of I forgot his name. He's a trader on TikTok or something. I've seen it. It's one of his quotes. He said, "If you can't go through difficulties, why do you want to be at the top? You can't be at the top. You can't be at the top without pressure, without being lonely, without being without being lonely, without being in a place for yourself where adapting to pressure, adapting to situations where I'm like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. Self-doubt, people overpass self-doubt, everything, like in general, always believe in yourself. That's the most important thing in everything you do.
So what I took from that is the mental strength.
Yes, the mental strength, that's exactly.
It's very important.
Brief way of saying everything else. Mental strength, and that, again, coming into football, then comes therapists and understanding the mental side of things. And a lot of coaches have told me that you need to improve your mental well-being before you play football. Because that's one thing that I struggled with over my career, and I obviously adapted to.
I know we've talked about this a lot between me and you outside the radio and stuff, but I just wanted to say how important is your Iman and your Deen upon doing these goals? How important is it? Because we hear all the time mental strength, but a lot of people, if you speak to the people who are struggling with things, maybe they're not in tied with the Deen side of things, because they have that matter of, like I said, when it's your time, it's your time. So it's part of tawakkul. So when having that belief, having that iman, when you're making dua every day. So talk us about this and relate to your religion, your iman. What did you do? Did you pray at night? Did you make more dua? What sort of thing did you give you that boost when you were feeling down?
I think religion is the most important thing, and I would say that religion is the reason why I am where I am today, and I'm still where I am today. Because talk about understanding that, listen, everything is written for you, and things happen for a reason. And majority of things now, I look back and I was probably frustrated that it happened. But Allah had something so much better for me. And so many things, we always talk about these things like, what if I was here? What if I was there? We always talk about these things, and obviously I don't mind sharing it with the radio, that I had once I got released from Leicester, I went to nearly 10 trials.
10 trials?
Up and down the country. Yeah, bear in mind I was still in school at the time.
So your dad's working hard.
Dad's working hard. My dad spent so much money for me to get to where I am. The amount of sacrifice he's made, the amount of money he's spent, the amount of time he's spent, the amount of everything. And I always say everything's written for you. I went to 10 trials and every single one of them said no. And that is up and down the country. I ended up in Scotland, Wales. I'm going Wales, I'm coming back, school the next day, early in the morning. And all of these things you have to sacrifice. And for me, I always say this, we laugh at it now, like, I went all of that, all around the country, just for me to end up around the corners and playing Nottingham. Like, all of these things, it's written at the end of the day, and you sit down and look at it, and you just laugh and say, like just believe in Allah and whatever He has for you. And when I did that, I said to myself, I'm going to go to this. I went into the Nottingham trial with more faith and more belief that whatever happens now, Allah is the best of.
Just want to point something out. So during that time, when you're going to trials, you're still making dua at this point. You're still having faith, still going on, waking up at night. And by the way, the viewers, tahajjud is very important. If there's something that you really want guidance for, you should do that, especially in the month of Ramadan, the last few days we have. Just want to say is, did you ever think at that point, is this for me? Like, imagine first rejection, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. By the time you hit the 10th one, you become numb to it probably. So did you ever feel like, is this for me? Did you ask for guidance and then go ahead with it? What was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, so after the 10th, 9th one, I started to obviously doubt myself, but I started to doubt that I have a career in the game. I started to say, like, listen, I don't know if this is for me, and I make dua to Allah, and I'd ask, like, show me a sign, or show me something, like,
or take me to wherever we're meant to be.
Just to calm me down a little bit and keep me at ease. But I remember having a conversation with my mother, and Jane told her, and this is where it's important that you have people around you that are keen on the deen and guide you through it as well. She said to me, I said to her, sorry, I don't think I could do this anymore. I don't know, like, why I'm going to 10 trials now and nothing's going for me. And she just said, keep tawakkul on Allah, keep working hard, keep doing exactly everything you've been doing, and Allah has something planned for you.
That's very important.
And that same week, I signed.
I
said that. Yeah. I signed for Notts County, and then, whatever happened there, it was, again, I have that faith in me to say now that it was really enough, that the place there wasn't for me, and we move on somewhere else.
Okay. Before we move on to the next stage, just want to ask the viewers if you would like to speak to us and want to give a call, whether it's that to share a story or to give us a question, whatever you're talking about. We do have our studio line on 0116 482 2086. We also have our text WhatsApp on 0774 88 55055. Moving on to this. So you've said right now you're not at club anymore.
No,
so you've finished. You've had your time at Leicester Academy. You've done your time at Nottingham. What's your next step? You think? What you've been planning? Because I know you just said the most important thing is to keep consistent, even when things are not going your way. So obviously you would love to be in the club, and I'm sure someone else is somewhere loving they want to be somewhere. But that turning up every day, what are the sort of things that you do to say every day, and when the opportunity comes, I'm ready?
Yeah, I think staying, obviously it's easy to say, but staying fit and training every day and keeping for example, my diet and what I eat, and not getting ahead of myself because I haven't got a club. I think it's important. And then comes discipline. Obviously, that's your self-discipline. If you can't handle yourself when you don't have a club, how you can handle yourself when you have a club? You can't just make a big change all of a sudden. But for me personally, it's about staying fit, keeping myself fit and training. But then again, training with like yourself and training with team is obviously
It's quite
two
different.
different things, you know. So not having that game time and stuff is obviously difficult. But for me, my plan is obviously next season, inshallah, to put pen to paper somewhere and inshallah get back up where I wanted to play, which is obviously get called up for my country and things like that. Obviously, there's always things I want to tick off in my book, but my main thing right now is to get put pen on paper, inshallah, next season.
Could you talk to us about your experiences in because we did talk about you being in academy or you being at Nottingham, but we didn't really dive into it, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Is there, obviously we come from a community which is not the usual. Were the people that were from the same community while you're there? Were the people of the same background? Was it somewhere were there any stories that you could share with us whilst you were there? How was life day to day? Because we hear someone was in, this is something I also think, we always see people on a high tree somewhere and you don't really know what's going on. You might think, okay, that guy's doing okay, that's it. Or someone's there, he's doing okay. And then you're going through something and you downplay it. But you're not there, you don't really know exactly day to day how is it that easy as you think? Is it
No.
and is it that even sometimes you look at the footballers on TV, you think, yo, he's sick, but maybe you play next to him thinking, you know what, I could do that. But
I always say to people that I watch football with my friends and they say, this guy, I said, they don't know half. Like, it's not as plain simple as it looks. They make it look simple. Footballers, we're robots, bro. Like, we're made to act a certain way, whether you go through this or not, act a certain way. If you go to the meeting, act a certain way. When you go on the pitch, act a certain way. And you're made to just a robot, bro. Like, you have to perform on the pitch, whether you got something going on outside or not. No one cares. The fans don't care. The manager don't care. You know what I mean? And for me personally, my own personal experiences, when I was at Leicester, obviously my family won't mind me saying it. When I was at Leicester, I went through a period where my mother was in hospital, like severely in hospital. And I'm having to go out on the pitch, play well.
And no one has a clue.
And no one has a clue. And then obviously one of the boys found out about it and asked me about it. He said, yo, you should tell the team, bro, like, we should help you out type of thing, you know what I mean? And I did that. And so weight came off my shoulders. I started to play like freely and obviously you still go through, but you feel a bit more calmer there and it's a safe space for you. That even injuries, people don't talk about injuries in football, players struggle with injuries a lot. The pressure of performing week in, week out. Majority of things that you struggle with, but end of the day, a fan will always sit there and say you get paid for every K week, so deal with it. But it's not as simple.
That's amazing, man. So yeah, I know I've never been there personally, that Leicester Academy facility, or even the Nottingham Forest. I know I told you I'd come to many of the games, but you know we get busy sometimes, so unfortunately we didn't get to make it. Talk us about that. How different was that walking into there and then going back home and then to St. Matthews? How is that? How does it feel?
I never like actually. The only difference for me was not because I'm going from a big training ground to a normal estate. For me, it was how big my story was in St. Matthews. I never really took that in how big my story was in St. Matthews.
Yeah.
Like, if you can see Leicester in the Unity made a video about that story of me coming out.
Oh, the one that you were in Cruyff. Yeah, I remember that.
And obviously, like me, I'm just casually just going to Cruyff and casually just play football with my friends. I'd go like out of the estate and someone would be like, you're that guy who prescribes for kids. I'm like, yeah, but it's just like you don't think about it as it being big, but it's something that people read my story about. There's people in different countries that know about my story, but yeah, and I'm proud, bro. I'm proud to be where I'm from, and I always say where I'm from, St. Matthews, and like it's good for me to kind of put us out there as well.
It's good you said that because as you said, we'd like to relate to everyone and the viewers and what they will think, but like you said, you reached a certain point and then you look back and think, and you're like, you know what, I've actually done something here. It's a proud moment. I can see my parents, they're proud of me. You've got my oldest, your brother's friend, me, everyone else. We can see it's a proud moment for us. Like you said, you go outside, oh, you're the guy who did this. So do you think people, generally speaking, especially when you have big goals, like that, when you get to a certain point and you're not getting there, you sometimes forget what you've just done or what you're still doing at that point?
I know people speaking. Like, I know it, and people would be like my own friends would be friends with some people that obviously I don't know, but they would be friends with some people and I'll go in rooms with some people, and they'll tell me like this is what people are talking about, this is what people are talking about. It's like I don't hear it because like people will talk, bro. Like I'd enter rooms sometimes and I'll hear mams, he's got this Leicester, he's from Sky, he's doing this, he's doing that, and people like the other day I had a deep conversation with someone who thought completely different about me. He didn't know me, but because of what he sees and what he hears, he thought completely different. When he spoke to me, he was like, "Rah, like I didn't know about that. I didn't know the ins and outs."
Thought you'd be like,
yeah, exactly. So people will talk, but I don't care what people say. For me, I'm focused on I care about what my family say, what my people around me say. Like, for me, the most important.
So I would say that to the viewers out there. If there is something you're trying to do, places you're trying to reach, the outside noise cannot get in.
No, absolutely not.
You have to keep going every day. Like I said, keep doing your prayers, your du'as every day, keeping faith. But shouldn't listen to the outside world and keep going, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so you have to be tunnel vision. If you want to win something or succeed in something, you have to be tunnel vision. And if you're not tunnel vision and you get distracted by the outer world, you end up falling apart.
And even when you're struggling, you feel like it's not going anywhere. Like today said, you realize, you know what, I've done quite a few things here.
Yes.
You look back and think, hold on a minute, let me just see what I've done. You've achieved quite a lot.
And that came from my mother as well. Like, I didn't think about that. If my mother didn't speak to me about this, I wouldn't have thought about it. Like, I would never sit down, and she actually said, sit down and think about what you've done in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's normal to some people's eyes, but to me, from where I'm from, like, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not normal. So, for a personal accolade that I'm happy with, some people have different accolades, but for me, that personal accolade, I can sit down and say, alhamdulillah, that I can give back and help people and give that guidance to younger people, younger cousins that go play academy. I can give them that little bit of leeway. And yeah, man, I'm grateful. Alhamdulillah, I'm happy, man. I'm blessed.
Okay, just want to say, you did recently go out to Spain, am I right?
Yeah.
For some trials and stuff. Now, talk to me about that. How important it is for us people, as people of this community, or as people who are in this country, how important is it for us to put ourselves out there, to be willing to take a jump, to leave the country to do something? Like, you might be going out for a trial, but some people are stuck in their own city, in their own country. They might not be willing to go out there, might not be thinking, no, I don't really want to leave around here. But tell us about that. How important is it to be willing to go out, go to another country, take that opportunity, whether it works or not, take that risk, take that faith? Talk us about that.
Before I go into that, I wanna say, before, when I was at Leicester, that situation of the opportunity of going abroad came to me once,
and you didn't take it.
But it wasn't a 100% deal.
Okay.
It was negotiations and things like that. I sat down with my parents and they said, "Nah, not yet. Too early."
Yeah.
And this came. So I'll tell you how this came about. So obviously I was in Amos County, training by myself, staying fit, whatever. Obviously my dad gets that phone call that there's a team in Spain that's interested, whatever. You know, be ready. Just have your bags ready, because any given moment we're booking the plane and going. So I was like, okay, like it wasn't even a thing where I'm going abroad, no, because generally my dad just said you're going to Spain, and I was like, cool. Packed my bags and I was ready to go. Went there, was there for a week. Obviously, I'm not gonna go into the ins and outs of what exactly happened, etc., etc. But I enjoyed it. I played 2 games, scored 2 goals, 3 goals, I think it was. Trained with the first team as well there. It was a whole different experience, and again, alhamdulillah, like, whether I'm playing there now or not, I don't care. Like, that was another experience, another accolade that I ticked in my notes. So no, it was a good experience. Honestly.
So what advice would you to be for someone out there to be willing to take the job? I know you said your dad just said pack your bags, time to go. But
we know that I'm gonna say yes. He's gonna say yes. I'm gonna
so
say
like
yes.
if someone else out there was not in that, let's for example, he had a comfortable job, but he has high aspirations and he has opportunity to go out abroad to do something else that he's been wanting to do, but he has the security of his job at home. That taking that jump is not easy, especially obviously there's got other things going on. What do you think about that? What type of mental strength?
It comes in the category of sacrifice. You have to sacrifice things if you wanna succeed. Again, if you wanna succeed in whatever you're doing, you're gonna have to sacrifice, whether that's sleeping with friends, your family, or obviously people have different situations. Some people live with their parents, some people live by themselves, some people live with sick moms, some people live with grandma. Like, everyone has their own situation. You know your situation. So, but for me personally, sacrifice is the most important thing, and understanding that listen, there's opportunities elsewhere. Maybe England, there's nothing here for you. Maybe there's something for you in Spain. There's something for you in Saudi. There's something for you in France. There's always opportunities elsewhere, and there's always eyes looking at you in different areas. So don't keep your eggs in one basket. Always try and distribute it and just give it a go, man. You can't go wrong with trying, you know. Because at the end of the day, you can't win if you don't try. You know what I'm trying to say? You can't succeed if you don't try. You can't do anything if you don't try. You can't say I couldn't do it because you didn't do it. You know what I'm trying to say? So
that's another thing. Like even personally, if there's something come up in my life, I like to say, you know what, I've done it, I've tried it. Even if it didn't work, I know I've done it. Because imagine thinking back after 5 years or 10 years, however long, even a year, you know what, that day, I should have done that. I don't want to live.
So it's just that you regret every single day of your life. Like and you start having if spots and maybe if I started it, what would have happened if, you know what I mean? Little things like that start playing in your mind.
Another thing is, now we're in a quite a tough time in terms of the economy in this country. A lot of people are struggling out there, and we see it day to day with the high prices and stuff like this. But put money aside, day to day life, there's gonna be problems. Every time, even indeed, this life here, you're gonna have problems. Allah's gonna test us, test our patience, see if you can keep faith during this time. So I feel personally, from my experience, from every single hardship I've gone through, when I've come out of it, I'm a better person. When I've gone through that, I've become a better person. But it's during that time that you think, this is tough, man. So is there anything you've been through to that point and you think, you know what, I don't know if I can do this. And then when you've come out, you think, you know what, this is something that I needed. And then even if you don't have an experience that you can tell directly, what would your advice be to be someone else out there? Something, they've just gone through something, they think they're alright, all of a sudden they got hit with something else. What type of strength you need there?
I think I'd say my personal experience that I started to say I can't do this anymore. Can't do anymore.
But then
I can't do this anymore mentally. I can't play football anymore.
Give me this one though. The one there's always sometimes I feel that there's one where the biggest change. Change.
Bro, I struggled big time when I went from Leicester to County. But like, bro, when I got released from Leicester, bro, like everything changed. Everything, like, it's a whole different world to me.
Because you had an expectation to be at Leicester until...
Yes, I had that expectation that I'll be at Leicester. I got too comfortable, and I always say, but I got comfortable. Bro, have you seen Leicester training?
No, I haven't.
Search it up. So just look at Leicester training, bro, and tell me you will not get comfortable in that environment. Like, bro, it's one of the best training grounds in the world. The floor has heating on it. The training room is massive. The pitch is just like 20. And alhamdulillah, like, when you go from that to a lower league team, before I was like, oh, this is rubbish. And I said, oh, like, imagine I never ever got to play in these two.
You wouldn't even think
two pitches, and I'll be so privileged. You know, like I think that everywhere I go now, it needs to be top quality. It needs to be top notch. You know, can't adapt to lower league pitch. And I used to say that when I used to play with you lot and like when we used to go to these parks and stuff. I'd be like, yeah, this pitch is.
I remember.
It's a bit rusty.
It's funny. We'd go to the park, Abbey Park. If you don't know, Sudais and his older brother is my closest friends. So we know each other for a long while. So we went actually out there to play Abbey Park. We go there quite a lot. We like to put coins down and play. Remember him coming fresh boots. I don't know if they're pink boots, yellow boots, fresh boots coming there complaining about the grass. And we sat there like, listen, bro, we're just trying to play football.
Nah, it's one of them ones. Like when I went to League Two and all these trials, even forget Notts County, just in general the trials, bro. I went to Barnsley, Shrewsbury, and I captained to every single League Two team for a trial, bro. And then it just kind of gave me that line like, listen, football's not always fun and games.
You're gonna go through.
You're gonna have to work your roster. You're gonna have to work up your roster and try and get back to that level. I'm trying to get back to that level 100%, but it's never easy. It's never easy. But for me, alhamdulillah, I always say, alhamdulillah, God has even given me the opportunity to step foot in stadiums, in world-class pitches against top teams. Like, alhamdulillah, bro, like, I could sit down and say I played against Liverpool, but I played against, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, dreams, bro, like, man don't deep this, but
a lot of people out there would love to be in that position. And I think it's very important. You know, as human beings, we get greedy. We want we always want more. Like, we will never be satisfied. But I think it's very important to say, you know, alhamdulillah, here, if I go any further, Allah's plan, alhamdulillah. If I don't, alhamdulillah. Because a lot part of that Imam faith is to say, you know what, maybe if I had carried on here, it would not be good for my dunya or akhirah. Or maybe it's just this delay is good for me. So then later, so I'm prepared when I actually make that step. So there's so many other things, but it's just that, like you said, having that faith that you know this.
It's good you mentioned that as well, because I wanted to share like when there was a period when I was at Leicester. You see, let me ask a question. You see, after everything I mentioned about the place and how I was doing, would you think I was happy?
Yeah, you said.
As an outsider, you'd think this guy is chilling. You know, he's happy.
He's happy going there.
But because I wasn't, and now I realize that I wasn't happy. Why I wasn't happy? Because I was not as close to God as I was now. I wasn't. Yes, I was doing well in the outer world. But in your heart and in your peace and in your iman and in your everything, you're not close to God. You know what I'm trying to say to you? And if you're not close to God, regardless of if you're a millionaire, if you're a billionaire, if you have the biggest house, if you have the best car, you're not satisfied, you're not happy, you're not at peace.
That's very important, you know, what you mentioned, because and that's with everything, because this life, end of the day, is all about your deen, the good deeds that you do in this world to go into the next. And if you don't have that relationship with Allah and you're trying to hit certain goals and you're trying to do some big things, whatever it is, whether it's football, you want a family, you want to start a business, you want to get married, you want to help your parents, you want to get an education, all of these things, with Allah, without Allah, with Allah will always be the one of blessings. Even if in your eyes, you're more successful with you at that time. Like you said, you were in Leicester, but you were not close to God at that time. And then when you are closer to Him, you were in Nottingham. But the thing is though, what is more important? Being close to Allah and feeling good and being able to perform your best. And one day in the future, inshallah, Allah opens up for you, or for you to stay in that other, without Allah.
I'd rather be close to God and not have any of what I've had. I'd not have absolutely anything of my career or nothing, like just be a normal guy.
So even as the ayah in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا, someone is not, he's not in the remembrance of Allah, will have a depressing life. So to our viewers out there, especially in these last 10 nights, we have opportunity now for struggling with anything. We all have struggles, we all have sins, we all have our challenges with ourselves. But the most important thing is trying to do better, trying to get better, and remembering that Allah is in control And like you said, I feel like that faith in Allah is makes it easier. Do you think?
Yeah, it makes it easier because if I didn't have faith in Allah right now, you see players that get released that don't have deen or don't have, they go kill themselves.
Oh, I've seen that actually. It's quite sad.
There's so many stories like that, and just don't have.
They have that faith.
It's not easy getting released. Like you play football day in day out, and then to change to not playing football at all and just doing nothing.
Doing to a normal life.
It's a whole different world. But I think Tahajjud helps me as well. Tahajjud's been a massive change in my life. As soon as I started playing Tahajjud, it's guided me, it's protected me, it's really kept me in steadfast. I remember I prayed Tahajjud before games, and to other people this will sound crazy, but during the warm up, you come up for the warm up. Wallahi, I place the ball where I'm gonna score. Like my mind, I visualize where I'm gonna score, and I place the ball exactly where I'm gonna score, and I act like I'm gonna shoot it, and then I say I'm gonna score, and I score exactly the same I visualize.
That's crazy.
So it's like I'm speaking to Allah whilst I'm warming up, and it's like I'm having a full conversation with him, and he's telling me, "Yes, you're gonna score this, and I score exactly the same way."
You see that guidance, that relationship. I feel like people downplay because you realize that at some point I had went through a trauma myself. Not gonna deep into it, but when I did go through it, at the time, obviously it was difficult.
Yeah.
But like what I learned from it personally, the biggest thing I learned from it was you are not in control.
Yeah.
Like
the moment you think you're in control, Allah will show you.
Yeah. Like you can go through the 7 seas. You can run through the whole Africa. You can do whatever you want. You can have as many people as you want to help you and aid you in that. But if Allah does not will it for that time or for that specific thing, it's not gonna happen.
100%.
But if you make your dua, you work hard, you stay true to yourself, and you still do your obligations, like you said, you do the extra, wake up for Tahajjud as well. You can't lose, man.
You can never lose. When you're close to God, regardless of whether you can never lose, bro. There's always happiness when you're close. The most thing you need to protect is your peace, your happiness, and your iman. That's number one.
And one thing as well, we're gonna be closing up soon. But since I know you have plans to get back into football and stuff like this, but I feel like people should know this though, is you can't know when it's gonna happen. No. But you have to be prepared. 100%. But also, it's not up to you when it happens. Allah brings at the right time. He will bring it somehow. Like you said, you went to Spain. Did you think you went to Spain? No. How did it just came about?
It came about, and a week later I was in Spain.
Like
I had plans that week.
Yeah.
Cancel everything because I was in Spain.
Let's go to Spain. And that Allah just brought the opportunity for you one time.
Wow, he brought the opportunity, and every single thing I said, that was just a lesson. It wasn't even like Allah knew that I was not gonna sign.
Yeah.
He just sent me out there just for a lesson or a new experience, or just to learn something, bring back to England, and maybe then, because when I went to Spain, I improved so much technically. Because can't get much into the time, but I improved myself a lot. So, man, everything's a lesson, and everything I just take it. I learn things a bit more deeper now than when I was younger.
I feel like people should know that just every day you work hard, the opportunity will come at some point.
Absolutely.
Patience. How hard is that word, patience?
Patience is virtue, bro. Patience is the most difficult thing anyone can do. You can have patience here, you can't have patience there. You have patience here, you can't have patience.
That's another thing. I wish we would talk about this more. Yeah. Everyone has their own difficulty.
Yeah,
if you went through something, for me, it'd probably be easy. But what I went through, for you, it'd probably be easy.
Yeah.
But then Allah knows He puts you through certain things that will make you click.
Yeah, everyone has their own. That's why I say everyone has their own paths and everyone has their own difficulties, and Allah tests people in different ways because He knows that you'll be able to deal with it. He will be able to deal with it. You know? So
that's why you can never look outside and think, "Oh, he's done. He's got that," because you don't know what blessings you have.
Always compare yourself. Never compare yourself to anyone else. The more you compare yourself to anyone else, you finish.
It's a spiral down after that. Anyway, we're gonna be finished up soon. Unfortunately, we didn't get anyone to call in, but hope you guys actually benefited from it, and I hope you guys also.
Which famous player did you play with before games?
So we do have a text here. So we have someone saying, which famous player did you play with or against?
Played with. Probably the person that's gone on to have a good career. My boy Trey.
He's at
He's at
Liverpool right now, isn't he? He was playing in pre-season.
Yeah, played pre-season, played a couple of games this season. He's a most player right now that has gone on to do something that I play with. Also play with. I don't think.
Or played against.
I can't think of anyone else that I played against. A few. Romel Donovan plays for, I think, played for Burton. I don't know if he still does. Played for Birmingham City as well. Yeah, there's a few players. But
obviously, people
in my mind,
you understand there's a different age range, so he won't be playing against the likes of.
I would play against the top players. I think I played against Luis Figo. I don't know. I don't remember, but I think I can't 100% guarantee, but there's a player that looks exactly like him. What we move.
Anyway, we have quite a few seconds left. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Hopefully you guys benefited. May Allah bless all of you and help you benefit for the last few days of Ramadan. And Assalamu alaikum to all.
Salam, brother. Thank you very much everyone for tuning in.